Grandmother and the Bird Nest by Uncle Amos. We think that Grandmother is a little funny. She likes big, fast cars, but she paints them pink. Who ever heard of a pink Cadillac? When she takes us out to eat, she always asks for a root beer float. "What's that?" the waitress asks. Grandmother tells her how to make it, but she's never satisfied. She says that things were better in the past. Once, Grandmother came over with a brand new hairdo. It was very tall. It looked like a giant beehive. "Grandmother, what did you do to your hair?" we asked. "Like it?" Grandmother asked, patting it. "It's a bouffant. The bouffant is the queen of hairstyles." We'd never seen anything like it. Neither had anybody else. Everyone on the street stopped and stared. Grandmother was turning heads. We went into a movie theater, but Grandmother's hairdo was so high that the people behind her couldn't see. We had to leave when the movie was only half over. We went to the food store, but Grandmother's hair was so high that it bumped into the lights. "Sorry," she said to the manager, "you can come in, but your hair stays outside." "Children," Grandmother said, "this is a good lesson for you. Some people will never understand fashion." We agreed. We certainly didn't. Now we couldn't go to a movie and we couldn't go shopping. Where could we go? "We'll stroll in the park," Grandmother announced. "Come, children." We strolled. The park was nice. There were skateboarders, rollerbladers, people eating lunch, and birds, lots of them. "Must be a bird convention in town," Grandmother commented. Birds flew all over the place, red ones, blue ones, yellow ones, and green ones. They twittered and trilled constantly. "What a show!" Grandmother cried. "How I loved birdsong!" When we went home, Grandmother sat on the couch. She was tired from all the walking we had done in the park. "Children," she said, "I think it's time to sit quietly." But suddenly we heard a beautiful burst of birdsong. Grandmother jumped straight up out of the couch. "There's a bird in this house!" she exclaimed. We looked all over for the bird, but it was nowhere to be found. We looked in the attic, the basement, the cupboards, and the shelves. No birds. But the bird just kept on singing. Grandmother couldn't stand it. "I like birdsong as much as anybody, but this is simply too much. I just have to get away from this bird." We left the house and went outside. Grandmother stretched on the lawn chair. "Ah, that's better," she sighed, but as soon as she did, she heard a burst of birdsong. It was just as loud as before. Grandmother jumped even higher. "Oh, bother!" she cried. "Is this bird following us?" We got up and ran down the street. The bird kept singing. "Faster, children!" Grandmother panted. "It's following us. We must outrun this bird." But the bird just kept on singing and singing. It sang so long that we all ran out of breath. We stopped on the corner, wheezing and holding our aching sides. The bird just sang. "Oh, children," Grandmother sighed, "I don't know what's going on." But we did. "Look, Grandmother, there's a bird's nest in your hair." Grandmother felt around on top of her hairdo. Sure enough, a bird had built a nest in her hair. That's where the singing had come from. "Well, good," Grandmother shouted. "Now we know what's going on. Let's get this bird out of my hair and back into the park where it belongs." "Wait," we cried. "There are eggs." The singing bird was going to be a mother. Grandmother looked worried. "I can't evict a mother, even if she does make a lot of noise. What am I going to do?" Well, we had an idea. The next day, Grandmother woke everyone up with a high trill. "Good morning, children!" The bird harmonized beautifully. "Why," Grandmother sang, "I haven't felt like such a diva since my days at the Apollo." The bird sang a perfect counterpoint to her every word. These days, Grandmother still stops by every day, but sometimes she leaves a little early so she can go to the radio station. She and the bird in her hair are music sensations. They made a record and put Grandmother and the bird in her hair right on the cover. The very first copy came to our house. It said, "To my lovely grandsons, my ultimate inspirations." And that's fine with us. Grandmother and the Bird Nest by Uncle Amos. Narrated by Rick Schultz.